What is going on, Bucs fans? Evan Wanish here, back at you with another video talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And today is episode number 2 of Betting the Bucs, where I take a look each week at some player props I like, maybe some matchups I like for the Buccaneers. All this is from DraftKings Sportsbook, so head over there. Not sponsored at all, but I use DraftKings, so head over there for these odds and much more. Now, I do want to review last week because last week was our first episode. I usually do 5 bets. This week I only have 4, but I usually do 5. I like to do 4 for the Bucs and 1 for the opposing team. This week it's going to be 3 for the Bucs, 1 for the opposing team. But last week had a really good week. Had Bucs minus 2.5. Check. Rachaad White over 17.5 receiving yards. Check. Shaq Barrett a sack. Check. Vita Vea with a sack. Check. And DJ Moore over 44.5 receiving yards. Check. That means we went 5-0 last week, folks. 5-0 on our picks last week. Let's hope for more good fortune here, I guess you could say. And hopefully we can remain undefeated. Most likely not, because that's just how this stuff goes. But let's see what we can do this week. So on DraftKings right now, this line is interesting because this line has fluctuated a lot. I believe it opened at 6.5. Opened at 6.5. Went as far down as 4.5. Went down 2 points. Now back up to 5, I believe, for Philly. Philly is favored by 5. Philly opened as 6.5-point favorites. It went all the way down to 4.5, which means there was a lot of money on Tampa there. Money sort of going back on Philly. 89% of the bets on DraftKings have been on Philly minus 5.5. The over-under is set at 46 points. So if you guys want to take that at all, we are not going to be taking any sort of spread here or any over-under in this game. Instead, we're going to be doing over-under on the full game. Baker Mayfield, we're going to be doing over 219.5 passing yards. You can get that at minus 150. This is all in the same game parlay builder here because you can't combine the points, the bets. So you have to do in the same game parlay thing. So all these odds are from that. I try to choose like the middle one each time, just one that I like. Over 219.5 passing yards. I think the Buccaneers are going to want to air it out a little bit more, especially because Philly's offense is a pretty good offense, and the Buccaneers defense may not be able to hold them to 17 points. The Bucs may very well have to throw the ball a bit more than they want to. I think Baker Mayfield over 219.5 passing yards. I think it's a pretty safe bet there. Another one, Chris Godwin over 59.5 receiving yards. You can get that plus 115. I like Godwin in this game. The Eagles are going to be without Avonte Maddox, a big piece of their defense. It does sound like they may get James Bradbury back for this game, but I do like Godwin. He's been a steady Eddie for the Buccaneers through the first 2 games, almost like identical stats in his first 2 games. But I do think this is the week where Godwin sort of breaks out, and I like him over 59.5 receiving yards. I like Godwin a lot this game, as I have him an anytime touchdown scorer, plus 215. I just think he's going to find the end zone. Hasn't found the end zone yet. Almost did against Chicago. Baker Mayfield missed him for a touchdown there. But I do think this is the week Chris Godwin will find the end zone. And then for our opposing bet, we have Jalen Hurts over 249.5 passing yards at plus 125. I think it's another thing where, I think the Eagles are going to recognize that the Buccaneers have been pretty good against the run. I think they're going to try and air it out. The Eagles have great weapons: A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. So I think they're going to want to air it out a little bit more. I think Jalen Hurts over 249.5 passing yards feels pretty good to me. So that would be what I would do for that. That's my opposing team bets. Like I said, I'm not taking a spread or anything in this game. I'm not going to lie, I know a lot of Bucs fans are going to yell at me. I like Philly at 4.5. It's okay at 5. 6.5 was a little much. I don't know about that yet, but I did like him at 4.5. When it went down to that, I was like, oh, that's a lot. And then obviously it's been going back up. So the over-under, I'm not really sure. I would maybe go over, but I'm still not 100% sure with that. I tend to stay away with over-unders when it comes to the pro game. I like to do that with college more often, but a $10 parlay, if you put in $10 parlay, the total payout would be $90 $90. So that would pay about $80 in total. Or what you'd make would be $80. So $10 parlay, if you want to throw that down. Like I said, we were 5-0 last week, folks. So hoping to keep the good times rolling here. Like I said, 5-0 last week with our picks. Will we go 4-0 this week? Probably not. Like it'd be pretty impressive, but if you guys want to take any of those, feel free. I feel pretty good about most of them. I think Godwin's going to have a good game. I think Baker Mayfield's going to be able to air it out. I think both offenses are going to look to the air more than the ground. The Eagles have struggled a bit through the air, which, like, Jalen Hurts over 249.5 passing yards can be a little bit worrisome, maybe, but I do think that they're going to recognize they won't be able to run the ball at will against this Bucs team like they did against the Vikings. So I think they're going to want to look to put the ball in Hurts' hands, not just running the ball, but also throwing. So I do like that. Let me know if you like any of these bets. Let me know if any of them pop out at you. Let me know if you're going to be betting them. Did you bet with me? Did you ride with me last week? Are you riding with me or are you fading me? I wouldn't have faded me last week, 5-0 last week. So had a pretty good week. Are you riding with me or are you fading me? Let me know. If there's any bets that you like that I didn't mention, also let me know. I'm always curious to hear what you guys seem to like in this particular matchup. But without further ado, that is all for Betting the Bucs episode 2. Hopefully the bets hit. We shall see. But thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And go Bucs.